a written note given to him from the Duchess of Sussex. What do you make of that?
Very hostile briefing out from the Duchess of Sussex spokesperson there. I would say this. The Duchess of Sussex has not been in touch with her father for several years now and let him flounder, actually, at the very beginning. You know, she didn't give him any guidance, and neither did Harry. They could have flown somebody out there to meet him. He did make a mistake, which was posing for some paparazzi photos. And that was an error, and it was a grave betrayal of trust. But the man was completely and utterly clueless. He was not expecting one day to turn around and find his daughter had married a prince. Now, they left him to deal with that alone, and he dealt with it badly, and then they've left him for the subsequent 7 years. And in that void, you know, he's formed friendships, and you know, one of them is with a journalist from my newspaper, and you know, but what is the man to do? He's a very lonely man. He's living in the Philippines, and really he just had no way of reaching out to his daughter, and he's absolutely been desperate to reach out to his daughter, and he ended up speaking to all forms of the media, newspapers and television channels, out of desperation, because she completely and utterly ghosted him. So you know, I think it's a bit unkind now to swoop in and say, how dare he have a friendship with a journalist. Happens all the time. You know, actually, the royals have friendships with journalists.
Well, I would be furious. I'm sorry, if my dad and I had issues that was none of anyone's business, and then he went to the paper and said he won't talk to me, I'd be like, well, I'm definitely not talking to you now. Like, reach out privately. The fact that he's going to journalists to do all this is not, that's not, to me, like, oh, you know, I want to reset the clock and like start forgiveness. That's like, why are you dragging the entire world into this? I would be annoyed, and I know that there's a lot pointed at Meghan here, like, well, she's a bad person. Look, her dad's there, and he's lost his leg, and you know she doesn't care. And it's like, we don't know what's going on. This is a private family matter, and I think, you know, there are a lot of people that don't speak to their families. It doesn't mean that they're bad people. There's things that have gone on that none of our business, and that's it. So I don't like this kind of like pointing at Meghan and Harry to try and say they're bad people over this. Like, we don't know what's happened between these people.
Well, there you go. GB News understands that Thomas Markle has received a letter from the Duchess of Sussex.
Grab a snack, grab a drink, because today we're diving deep into the absolute circus that is the UK tabloid machine. The constant obsession with Meghan Markle. And yes, this latest mess involving her estranged father and the journalist glued to his bedside like she's auditioning for a documentary nobody asked for. Let's get into this. So, earlier today, a spokesperson for the Duchess of Sussex released a statement to GB News. And this statement was important because it revealed something the tabloids pretend not to know. They said a Daily Mail reporter has been sitting at Thomas Markle's bedside, literally around the clock. She is broadcasting every interaction, every whisper, every movement. This violates every ethical boundary known to journalism. Because of this circus, Meghan has found it nearly impossible to contact her father privately, even though she's been trying for days. This spokesperson confirmed that Meghan finally managed to send him some sort of correspondence through trusted contacts. There were rumours she wrote him a note, and it looks like that's exactly what happened. This alone proves Meghan was trying to reach him privately, respectfully, and without media involvement. But the UK media? They didn't care. They took the statement, twisted it upside down, and threw it into their favourite Olympics event, blame Meghan for everything. So GB News brings on commentators to discuss the statement, and right away Charlotte Griffith. Yes, that Charlotte comes in swinging with, oh, Meghan's statement was hostile. Hostile? Hostile. This woman is dealing with a father who has sold her out for years and a reporter sharing his bedside like she's filming a reality show. That's not hostility, that's restraint. Charlotte then goes on a very predictable rant. Meghan hasn't talked to her father in years. She abandoned him. She didn't help him when her life changed. The only mistake he made was the staged paparazzi photos. He's just a lonely, clueless man. And once again, no mention of the interviews he sold for money. The private letter he leaked, the constant public smearing, the timing of his attacks, always when Meghan is achieving something positive. The fact that her biggest abusers are his closest media contacts. This is intentional. This is narrative manipulation. This is the UK media playing victim on behalf of a man who has never once respected Meghan. Thankfully, another panellist stepped in and said something sensible. If her dad kept running to the media instead of reaching out privately, she wouldn't talk to him either. Exactly. Because at some point, family is not a free pass for abuse. Let me be blunt. Thomas Markle has repeatedly chosen tabloids, money, attention and public drama over his own daughter. For years. Let's list just some of what he has done. 1. Sold stage paparazzi photos and lied about it. He pretended he was just innocently photographed. He wasn't. He set the whole thing up for cash. 1. Sold her private letters. This alone should disqualify him from ever claiming to love or respect her. 1. Worked with her biggest enemies. He teamed up with the very people who push racist, misogynistic narratives about Meghan. 1. Timed his media attacks strategically. Every time Meghan had something positive going on, a project launch, a pregnancy announcement, something important, he'd magically pop up with a new interview. 1. Enabled his other children to harass her. And those two? The siblings? I won't even get started on their levels of delusion. 1. Became the tabloids' favourite puppet. He gave them exactly what they needed. A father they could weaponize against Meghan. Anyone else would have cut him off years ago. Charlotte claims he's lonely. Let's pick that apart. He has other kids too, in fact. He has adult grandchildren he's never met. He has people who live with him. And yet the only time he talks about being lonely is when he can monetize it through tabloids. Where's that energy when it comes to his son, his daughters, his grandkids, his friends, his neighbours? Why is he only desperate for connection when money is involved? The truth is, he's not lonely. He's opportunistic. His loneliness ends the second a tabloid check hits his bank account. This one right here blows my mind. Caroline Graham, the Daily Mail journalist sitting at his bedside, is the same woman who published Meghan's private letter and got sued. Why is she there? Who allowed this? Why is she embedded like a wartime reporter? This is not normal. This is not ethical journalism. This is a tabloid operation. She is not a friend, a supporter, a companion. She is there to extract content. She is there to observe. She is there to get reactions. She is there for the money. If she cared about him as a human being, she wouldn't be selling his private medical updates for clickbait. Now, one thing I genuinely admire about Meghan. She does not fall for the traps. They want her emotional. They want her reactive. They want her to lash out. They want her to make mistakes. They want her to play into their narrative. She won't, and she never will. She moves with intention. She protects her peace. She communicates privately, not publicly. She does not feed the trolls. She does not give tabloids the meltdown they desperately hope for. The UK media hates her because no matter how many stories they invent, she never plays the role they assign her. She is not the villain they've written in their fantasy novel. Let's get real about something. In older generations, people were taught to tolerate toxic family. Family is family. Just deal with it. It's your father. Meanwhile, that same father is selling your private letters. But our generation, absolutely not. We don't tolerate abuse, manipulation, emotional blackmail, guilt trips, toxic patterns, disrespect, public humiliation. If you destroy my peace, you're out. I don't care what your DNA is. We protect our energy. We protect our mental health. We protect our boundaries. And Meghan protecting her peace is not cruelty. It's survival. Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, they did not hold back. People listed everything Charlotte conveniently ignored. Thomas has sold stories for cash since 2018. He leaked Meghan's private letter. He repeatedly slandered her. He times his attacks to overshadow her achievements. He willingly works with her abusers. He has other kids he never sees. The journalist at his bedside is being paid. This is not friendship, it's business. People called Charlotte biased, racist, manipulative, dishonest, and part of the toxic tabloid machine. And let's be honest, if you defend a man selling out his daughter for money, what does that say about you? This is the heart of the issue. What does Meghan actually owe him? Does she owe him access, forgiveness, connection, time, emotional labour? Her children? No, she owes him nothing. Respect is earned, trust is earned, access is earned. If he wanted a relationship with her, he wouldn't have destroyed it on live TV for the past 7 years. He made his choices. She's making hers. This situation is sad, not because Meghan is in the wrong, but because Thomas Markle knows exactly what he's doing. And the British tabloids? They are milking it for every penny. They want Meghan to fail. They want her to crumble. They want her to bow down and apologise for things she didn't do. She won't. She shouldn't. And honestly, she doesn't need to. Outro. So now I want to hear from you. Do you think Meghan should reconnect with him? Or should she continue protecting her peace and keeping her distance? Let me know in the comments below. I'm always reading your takes. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.